Despite the Trump presidency being over for almost 4 years, the effects of his term in office are still being felt across the country today. In 4 years, Trump made about as many appointments to the federal judiciary as his predecessor Obama had in 8 years. And today we're going to talk about why elections matter and how they affect our lawsuits. Hey guys, I'm Tiffany and you're watching One in the Chamber, the show that teaches you how to be a better pro-gun activist. Before we get into this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And let us know if there's any issues you'd like us to dive into or anti-gun arguments you'd like to see debunked. Every comment you leave helps us fight YouTube's algorithm. If you're a regular viewer of this channel, you know that the executive branch has become too powerful. In recent years, government by executive fiat has been a controversial way for presidents to achieve results that they could not get from Congress. Presidents regularly issue executive orders to their federal bureaus and agencies, who in turn issue regulations, creating law without that pesky legislative branch getting in the way. And while this is one of the reasons that it's important to nominate and ensure that pro-gun candidates are elected to the presidency, federal agencies change with every administration, and therefore so do regulations. A longer-lasting effect to presidential elections are judicial appointments. When a president appoints a federal judge and they are confirmed by the Senate, that appointment is for life. Just take Judge Gerald Barchow-Flatt, who began his federal judicial career when he was nominated to serve on the U.S. District Court for the Middle District of Florida by President Richard Nixon in 1970. He's now the senior judge on the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals over 50 years later. Judicial appointments matter. President Trump acted on this notion. He confirmed 54 judges to the federal appeals courts and even more to the district courts in his 4 years. To compare, Obama confirmed 55 judges to the federal appeals courts in his 8 years as president. Meanwhile, Biden has been slow to match Trump's vast appointments of the judiciary. This is so significant that Reuters even ran an article highlighting Biden's failures in the eyes of progressive advocates. Okay, so why does this matter? Well, when a president nominates a judge, it's because the judge fits their ideological requirements. For example, Biden would likely not nominate a judge who is pro-gun, as it goes against his agenda. This affects lawsuits around the country. Often getting a Clinton or Obama nominated judge can guarantee a loss during a suit, especially on Second Amendment cases. These judges will do everything they can to either avoid making a decision at all by using legal doctrines like the Chevron deference, automatically siding with ATF, or by reading their own meaning into the law. We've seen examples of this while fighting our case Antoniuk v. Hochul in New York and the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, where in a ruling, judge referred to a law review article highlighting the time-honored tradition of narrowing Supreme Court precedent from below, then ruling against the ability of law-abiding citizens to carry firearms in New York. The 3 judges who issued that opinion were nominated by George H.W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden, respectively. No wonder they want to narrow precedent from below. In another case that GOA is watching, a county judge sentenced a nonviolent resident for building his own firearms in New York. Of course, that's an activity that's been legal and protected by the Second Amendment for over 200 years in this country, but what's stunning is that the judge who received her first court assignment by anti-gun New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio in 2015 stated that the Second Amendment doesn't exist here. So you can't argue Second Amendment. This is New York.
Because she told us, do not bring the Second Amendment into this courtroom.
Right.
It doesn't exist here. So you can't argue Second Amendment. This is New York. It made, I know you're trying to get to federal court, but you're not allowed to. I was like, look, if we can win, we're going to win here, Judge. He doesn't want to go to prison. He's not going to prison for no reason. He's willing to go if he has to, but he's not trying to go to prison, right?
Yeah, of course.
So if you got to let us make our arguments. And, I filed all the things to preserve these arguments for appeal. She rejected these arguments and she went out of her way to limit me.
This is the problem with the judicial branch from top to bottom in our nation today. Judges aren't supposed to be partisan. But unfortunately, at the federal level, an activistic administration like that of Joe Biden isn't going to nominate anyone who will not support their anti-gun agenda. This is especially concerning considering that we're talking about the fundamental rights of Americans. The Second Amendment is obviously just as important as the First Amendment or any other amendment for that matter. But unfortunately, these judges don't seem to think so. This is why elections and primaries matter so much. The president nominates the judges, and then the Senate confirms them. If gun owners want to preserve the Second Amendment, we should work diligently to elect pro-gun senators and a pro-gun president as well, who will then nominate and confirm constitutionally minded judges that understand the importance of the Second Amendment. This is why GOA works hard to support pro-gun candidates and ensure that our members are educated on who is fighting for their interests in Congress. Consider becoming a member today using the link in the description of this video. We also publish ratings of Congress members based on their voting record for you to use as a reference when you go to vote, so you know which candidates are truly no compromise. And many congressmen and senators love to brag about their good GOA ratings. Anyways, that's it for today. Be sure to take a look at those resources. I'll see you guys next time.